And Cheney was behind it. Well, and so was Benny Thompson and everybody on that committee. For what they did, honestly, they should go to jail.
So you think Liz Cheney should go to jail?
For what they did.
Everyone on the committee, you think
I think everybody, anybody that voted in favor.
Are you going to direct your FBI director and your attorney general to send them to jail?
No, not at all. I think that they'll have to look at that, but I'm not going to. I'm going to focus on drill, baby, drill.
Donald Trump spent years vowing to turn every law enforcement agency into his own political retribution station. So now is the time to keep saying he wants his political enemies in jail while denying he'll direct his cronies to carry it out. You know, it's not like this is some kind of genius strategy that no one can see taking shape.
The objective is one thing, the process is another, and the process of how he wants to do these things. My colleague pushed back on him saying, you'd order the FBI. And he's like, no, I wouldn't order the FBI.
Right.
But the FBI should look into it.
Right.
While he's in the process of firing an FBI director and bringing in Kash Patel, who is a subservient loyalist, he doesn't have to tell him what to do. He's not going to direct Kash Patel to investigate this because he knows if Kash Patel wants the job, then he will be investigating these people without me having explicitly telling him so.
Yeah, it doesn't get any more obvious than that. It actually looks like they want anyone that's been paying attention to know that that's the game. You know, it's not like they haven't been declaring it on their podcasts.
Do you feel confident that you will be able to deliver the goods, that we can have serious prosecutions and accountability? This is just not rhetoric. We're absolutely dead serious. Do you believe that you can deliver the goods on this in a pretty short order the first couple of months so we can get rolling on prosecutions?
Yes, we got the bench for it, Bannon, and you know those guys. I'm not going to go out there and say their names right now so the radical left-wing media can terrorize them. But, excuse me, the one thing we learned in the Trump administration the first go-around is we got to put in all America patriots top to bottom. And we got them for law enforcement. We got them for intel collection. We got them for offensive operations. We got them for DOD, CIA, everywhere. And the one thing we will do that they never will do is we will follow the facts and the law and go to courts of law and correct these justices and lawyers who have been prosecuting these cases based on politics and actually issuing them as lawfare. We're going to come after you. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice. And Steve, this is why they hate us. This is why we're tyrannical. This is why we're dictators.
He'll put in loyalists from top to bottom. So how do a bunch of yes men doing a bidding of a vengeful crybaby ensure fact-based investigations and prosecutions? And does anyone think that this guy, who's been salivating at the thought of doing Trump's bidding, think he has any reverence for the law? They don't, and Trump's nearly non-existent denial shows it even more.
If you want to understand what's going on, think about the mafia. This is the same thing. And again, the literature, historical literature on dictators talks about the relationship, Hannah Arendt talks about this, between the fascist leader, say, and the mob boss. So you hire the people who are going to get it, who already know what you want. It's a very familiar strategy. We all know.
The concern for the sliver of accountability is gone. And since Trump watched his supporters join him in denying that he incited and celebrated their attack on the Capitol, he's convinced that he can do the same by seeking his cronies to lead the FBI and DOJ to do exactly what he's promised to do, and then somehow act like he didn't.
I think Liz Cheney, quite frankly, for what she did, I have my own personal opinions about Liz Cheney, but what President Trump said, and if you listen to the entire Meet the Press interview, is he wants everyone who he puts into key positions of leadership, again, whether that's Pam Bondi as the AG, Kash Patel at FBI, or anybody else, to apply the law equally to everybody. Now, that means if you're somebody who's committed some very serious crimes, who's committed very serious felonies, who's, for example, leaked confidential information in direct violation of laws that are in place, well, then obviously that sets you up for different things. But as far as the politics aspect, if you listen to the entire interview with President Trump, he said he's going to leave that up to the law enforcement agents in charge, including Pam Bondi and Kash Patel.
He'll leave it up to law enforcement agencies involved, led by the people that openly said their primary objective is to execute the revenge tour that they promised. You know, this is so blatant, if they don't carry out these baseless political prosecutions, their supporters will be disappointed that they failed to live up to their campaign promises of arresting the people that exposed his criminal behavior.
All of us that worked on the January 6th committee are proud of the work that we did. We exposed one of the darkest chapters of our history when a president incited a violent attack on the Capitol to try to stop the peaceful transfer of power. The vast majority of our witnesses were Republicans. Some of them were high-ranking Republicans in the Trump administration who testified under oath and in public hearings so that the country could hear and see and learn about what took place on that awful day. This is not just about retribution against those of us on the committee. This is about sending a message that no one better hold him to account in his second term. No one better look at what he does, do their congressional job, that he is intent on trying to break down these checks and balances in our system. That's where the danger lies, more so than to the members of the committee.
It's weird how a bunch of bad actors that base their political opposition to the truth coming out about their plan to first steal an election, and then when that failed, attack the Capitol. It's crazy how they think they can claim to honor the law against a bipartisan group that simply exposed their actions. And since Biden decided to play the game of pitching preemptive pardons, they'll take any news they can to keep supporters' eyes off of their lawlessness.
All the people that are listed as going to get pardons, this sort of diplomatic immunity or democratic immunity for crimes not even charged by Joe Biden, they're obviously guilty of something, because otherwise why would they be wanting pardons? And I think this shows with Liz Cheney, there is a lot of allegations around about her untoward behaviour during the J6 committee that she was vice chair of. And you know, there's a lawyer, Stephen Pasanto, who has made a bar complaint in the DC bar against her for communicating with his client, Cassidy Hutchinson, without him when she was on the J6 committee, and asking her to testify.
So you can see how the plan is to ignore all the evidence that the committee revealed, then act like Biden's bad idea to potentially pardon everyone based off of Trump's bad plan to prosecute everyone somehow lives in a vacuum. You know, the one big downside to that strategy of expecting his targets to beg for pardons and then causing MAGA to think that they're admitting guilt the way that Trump's people did is that some of the most hated aren't really advocating for it. You know, but they won't tell you that part because it then ruins their alternative facts.
I don't think it's a good idea, and I would urge the president not to do that. First of all, I think it's unnecessary, but I also think it's unwise. I don't want to see a precedent where you start to have presidents on the eve of leaving office issuing blanket pardons to people of their own party or of their own administration. That, I think, would tend to encourage people to feel they're not beholden to the law because the outgoing president will give them a prospective pardon. So I think it's unwise policy, and I would urge the president not to go down that road.